So today we got the Rode Wireless Go 2 and we're gonna be testing everything. We're gonna be talking about what is it, who's it for, range, interference, audio quality and much more. Yeah, man, we're a Brazilian photographer and filmmaker living in Italy, and in this channel I help you with the tech tools to be creative. And a while ago I did a video about the comparison between the Rode Wireless Go 1 and 2, and it was part of my own research to understand if I should upgrade to version 2 or not. So here it is. So today I'm going to be repeating all the tests that I did in that video that you can also watch up here if you want, and also I'm going to be showing you all the new features that comes with this new package. So let's begin. Okay, so first of all, what comes in the package? So now this second version has this bigger pouch in respect to the first one, but also because it comes with an extra transmitter. And inside the package you're gonna see the typical receiver that looks almost exactly the same like the first one, and this time with two different transmitters that also look very similar to the original Wireless Go. A quick introduction if you haven't seen one of my other videos and you don't know exactly what's the Rode Wireless Go. So this is a wireless microphone that comes in two different parts. One is the receiver that is going to be always on top of the camera or your recorder, and that is going to receive all the audio to be registered. And the other one is the transmitter that is going to be with who's talking. In version 1 you only had one transmitter, but now in the Rode Wireless Go 2 you've got two of them, so you can have two people talking at the same time. And this microphone is so practical because you don't need anything else besides this. You just clip this whatever you can find on the body, and you don't need to put any cables or anything like that. So it's a very tidy and clean microphone setup. This is how the Rode Wireless Go 2 sounds when you're just in a busy environment, walking around the street, vlogging and everything. And I've hidden the microphone inside here, so you should be hearing pretty well, I imagine. It also comes with the cable that you use to connect the receiver to the camera or your recorder, and small wind first for all of them. Besides all the paperwork, and also USB-C cables to connect them to your computer, because you're gonna need it to use it with Rode Central. Alright, let's talk about range. And my experience with the first one was that the range was almost infinite, because actually I could get to such a far away place from the camera that normally I wouldn't even do it like that. Rode claims it's up to 200 meters, so I'll check out the test that I did. Okay, so for this test I'm just gonna be turning away from the camera and reading something, and we're gonna see how many steps can I take before the sound just cuts. And you can follow everything by looking at the spectrum down here. I just got the data sheet from Rode and I'm just gonna be reading it. You're probably gonna be hearing all these birds flying around me here. It's probably very distracting, but since this is just a test, I'm already disappearing now because this is gonna go down. I hope you can still hear me. Could you? I don't know. But anyways, I think this is already a distance in which you would never get filming yourself alone. Otherwise your camera would be gone by now. And well, in line of sight, as you can see, it's perfect. I could go even further probably. Now I'm curious to know how many steps did I take. In the other video I think there were 17. Was it more? Let's talk about the battery. So Rode claims it works for 7 hours. My experience was recording an interview for 2 to 3 hours with both transmitters and the receiver connected at all times, and with the onboard recording enabled, so they were actively doing something and transmitting the whole time. And the battery went down from 100 to 75%, so 1/4 of the battery went away in a couple of hours, almost 3 hours actually. So if you multiply it by 4, you're gonna get roughly 8 to 10 hours, which is even more than what Rode claims. So I think it's fair to say that if you have a half a day recording, that you're gonna be just fine with it. So how to position the Rode Wireless Go? Ideally, these kind of microphones should be around the chest area. So you can try to find on the clothes of the person somewhere that you can clip it, that it's gonna be kind of hidden, and at the same time offer really good distance, maximum about one hand from their mouth. But you have to be really careful with this one, because depending on where you position, maybe the cloth will bend over, and also you can't have it rustling against the body of the person or against their clothes. So you have to pay attention to that. Always monitor your audio to be sure that everything's clean. On me, for example, I've tried different positions, and I'm gonna let you listen some of them. So for example, I have an internal pocket here, so I could just position the microphone, and that's it. I can just continue talking to you, no problems at all. If the audio I feel that is a little bit too far, I can also position it maybe on top here a little bit more. So maybe clipping it to this part of the jacket and let it hang here. The problem is that like this, it's gonna show much more. If you can't find a position at all to clip it close to the mouth, you can always connect a Lav mic on it and just leave the transmitter on their pockets or hidden somewhere. and just have a very small lavalier microphone connected up here somewhere, or even on a light shirt or something like that. What about internal recording space? So inside Rode Central, you can see that it allows you for 7 hours of uncompressed audio or 24 hours of compressed audio. Since 7 hours already seems more than enough for me to have time to back up at the end of the day, I just left it like that and I did all of my recordings as uncompressed. And you can see that it splits the files in around 30 minutes more or less. So when you want to export a file, you just have to come to Rode Central, just click export, choose where and the type of file that you want, and that's it. But obviously the same kind of audio is going to be in your recorder or in your camera directly. This would be just for a fail-safe situation in which you just couldn't have the audio transmitted back to the receiver for whatever reason. Now, do you need lav mics? And in theory, no. You can just position the Rode Wireless Go wherever you can find on the person's clothes and you're gonna be just fine. This is the audio quality you get from that. But I've found myself in situations in which it was almost impossible to hide it from the camera, and I needed something that was a little bit more lightweight, not to bend over their clothes or something like that, to look a little bit more professional. So I have 2 different lav mics to test today, and you're gonna be seeing the difference from this audio quality directly from the Rode with them right now. So for this to work with a lav mic, you simply have to connect your lav mic to the transmitter, and then you can hide all this mess. This cable is huge. This you're listening right now is a Boya M1. It's a €20 lav mic, so cheap, but at the same time, really good. So now I've got the transmitter and all the cables inside the pocket, and just the cable is coming up, and the Boya M1 is just positioned right here. Very hidden, very concealed, and very practical like this. So this is how it sounds with the Boya M1 connected to the Rode Wireless Go. Now this is another lavalier mic, but totally another level of quality. This is a Sennheiser, and I'm just gonna do the same. Connect it to the Rode transmitter and position it on myself. So ideally you want the cable to be doing a little bit of a curve like this. Also inside is doing the curve and going inside the pocket. So you should be hearing me pretty well right now. And just a basic comparison, this is the audio quality that comes from the Sennheiser lav mic connected to the Rode Wireless Go transmitter. This is the audio quality you get from that. So this is how it sounds with the Boya M1 connected to the Rode Wireless Go. This is the audio quality that comes from the Sennheiser lav mic connected to the Rode Wireless Go transmitter. So Rode Central is the new software from Rode that allows you to change some of the configurations and have access to some new features that the Rode Wireless Go 2 offers. All you have to do is go to Rode website, the link's gonna be in the description also. You download the software, install it, and it's just gonna be blank like this until you plug one of the 2 transmitters or the receiver to the USB-C of your computer. And then it's gonna be recognized and you're gonna have access to its features. So let's first connect the transmitter for you to see how it looks like. I'm just gonna plug it to the USB-C. And immediately it's recognized and already appears here as you have a TX connected. All your recordings are already here, and I can simply click and I can see the audio and I can also listen to it. You have all the options you can change. And first of all, you got the record function that you can set to backup, off, or always, meaning that it's gonna be recording on board, either never if it's off, either always even if it's disconnected from the receiver if the receiver is off, or backup if it's connected to the receiver and it's already going to be recording on board, even if you haven't hit record on your camera yet. So it's going to be just continuously recording. You don't have to worry about starting or stopping this, and you're always going to have this backup audio to save you in case there's some kind of problem. Now a little bit of real life experience. I took this to an interview, and as soon as I plugged both transmitters with lav mics on top of 2 talents, I started listening and I noticed that there was some failing in the audio. Something strange was going on and I couldn't figure out what it was. It wasn't rustling or anything on their clothes or anything like that. It was just like the audio was having small little cuts. And I soon realized it was probably some interference problem. So then what I did was to turn everything off and turn on again so that the transmitters and the receiver, they would renegotiate the channel to be used for the communication, and it worked flawlessly. And then what I did was that when I got home, I checked the recording on board on the transmitter itself, and there was no problem at all, just proving that the problem was in between the receiver and the transmitter. So even if I had a problem like that in the middle of the interview, it wouldn't be a problem, because then I could just revert back to the recording on the transmitter and we'll be just safe. And just to complete the tour of Road Center with the transmitter, we got the option to use a low sensitivity mode here. You have the option to change the brightness of the LEDs on all of them and what the Road button on the bottom does. Either it can be none, can be to set a marker on the audio that you can access later when you click on any of the files here. You're going to be able to see a marker and you can cycle through them. Or also it can be to mute the microphone. And below you just got some information and you can also delete all of your recordings up here. And as I often like to do with you guys, I'm going to be editing and recording this video at the same time because right now I'm going to be downloading and exporting from this transmitter the audio from all that I recorded outside. So right here you can see that I recorded these at 8:33, at 9:03, and both files have around 30 minutes because it's since the moment that I put it on, that I turned it on, I stayed there for all this time, and then it recorded in the end 3 different audios with 30, and then 9 minutes. So I'm just gonna come up to here. I'm just going to say Road 2 part 01, for example. I'm just gonna copy this so that I can use for the other one. Export, I'm just gonna put it on the desktop for now. Then export is in progress. It shouldn't take very long. Now let's address the new features that we got in this Rode Wireless Go 2. And you can see them especially when you open Rode Central and you connect the receiver to the USB-C of your computer. So what you can see in the screen right now is that the functions are very different from those that you get when you connect the transmitter. First of all, you get the backlight. Now the game mode, and this is totally game changer because in the first version you only had low, medium and high. And I even commented this in my other videos saying that it was impossible for me to use the A7 III in the minimum gain possible because either if I use the Rode in medium level, it was way too low, and if I used it in high level, then it would be way too hot for the camera, the audio would be always clipped. So with this option, instead of having just low, medium and high, now you have several different gain levels that you can see here from 0 dB and going every 3 dB difference until -30. So you have many more options to work with. So actually with this, I was able to configure the audio level on the camera to 1 and just use it here -9 dB, and it was just perfect. Now the mode of recording, and probably this is the most different and the most important thing for you to learn if you're coming from a single recorder, because this totally changes how the Rode Wireless Go is gonna work. Here I have configured right now split mode, and this means that the audio coming from both transmitters are gonna come to the one receiver and they're gonna be recorded separately. So when you see the audio inside Premiere, you're gonna see that you have actually 2 channels and each transmitter is recorded on one of them. This allows you to edit both of them separately. So you have people that have totally different tones of voice, or they're not talking at the same time and you just want to eliminate the noise from each other, you can do it. Instead, if you click here and you switch it to merged mode, then audio is going to be compressed into only one file that you cannot separate later. So imagine, for example, a situation in which one of the people being interviewed is talking and the other one happens to cough. With the separate channels, you can simply mute that channel and you just eliminate all the noise. Instead, if it's merged, everything's gonna go together and you cannot change it anymore. You cannot clean this audio anymore. But there's an advantage. Using merged mode, you can also use the safety channel. At the same time, you're gonna be recording a -20 dB version of the same audio, meaning that if suddenly someone talks much louder than they were talking before and the audio happens to clip, you have this one here to save you. So you have to wait what is gonna be more important for you. Mainly what I'm doing is using merged mode with the safety channel if I'm recording only myself or only one person, and I'm using the split mode if I'm recording an interview that I will probably want to clean and to make the audio better after in post-production separately. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps you decide if this is for you or not. And as usual, all the links are going to be in the description. So also if you buy something using those links, you help the channel, but at no extra cost for you. So I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.